Hey guys, what's up? It's Zyflin here, and today I'm going to be showing you guys how to play Limbo in Warframe in 2019. Now, Limbo is everybody's favorite defense frame. I personally prefer Frost, but you can't deny that Limbo is a pretty effective and efficient defense frame because his kit literally allows you to AFK. So if you need to, do your homework, but you really want to farm some stuff in Warframe, then Limbo is probably your go-to guy because his kit is so lazy, it's insane. Now, there's a few ways to play Limbo, and which way you play him is going to be determined by what type of group you're playing with at the time and how much you care about the opinion of other players, at least in my opinion, because some players prefer a small Limbo bubble in their team and then other players prefer a big Limbo bubble in their team. Realistically, you're still doing the same job. Doesn't matter which one you choose, but the downside is whenever you're in the Rift, because Limbo has two different dimensions basically. So if you go ahead and you do a little roll, right? You go into this like Rift dimension, right? So that portal, if you are another player, you're not the Limbo, you can jump through that portal and then go into the Rift dimension with Limbo. And then any enemy who's not also in this Rift dimension, they can't damage you. But the downside is you can't damage those enemies either. Like, there's no damage going in, there's no damage going out, basically, unless it's like a Warframe ability. So let's say, for example, you are a Mesa, you're in the Rift, you use your fourth ability, you hold down left click, and then there's an enemy outside of the Rift, then you can still kill that guy because it's a Warframe ability. Doesn't make that much sense, but that's just how it is, really. But you just can't use your normal gun to shoot out of the Rift, right? So that's why other players don't like it whenever you're playing Limbo and there's a big bubble, because then players can't just shoot whatever enemy they want. I personally don't think it's a big deal, because I can just walk out of the Rift and kill the enemies that I want, or I could use my Warframe ability. It's totally fine, but I do respect those who don't like playing with a big bubble Limbo, okay? So pretty much Limbo's kit is centered around his fourth ability and his second ability. So you cast your fourth ability, and this is Limbo's defensive ability, kind of like your snow globe, and then you press your second ability, and what that is going to do is it's going to freeze all of the enemies who are in the Rift. Now, your 1 can also put enemies into the Rift as well, but it's single target, where your 4 is this big, massive bubble that you can increase the size of using power range mods, and it's going to decay over time, and the rate that it decays at is pretty much based off your duration mod. So the longer duration you have on, then the slower that it's going to decay, pretty much. So if we go ahead and we burst my bubble, so you can do that just by pressing 4 again. It also deals damage whenever it's initially casted, by the way, so that's worth keeping in mind as well. And we spawn in our heavy gunners. We're going to go ahead, pause the AI. Actually, no, we're going to unpause AI, sorry. I realized that I had that unchecked to begin with. We're going to simulate them. What we're going to do is we're going to press R4. You see it deals a small amount of damage. We press R2, and those enemies are going to be completely frozen until the duration of R2 runs out. And enemies who are outside of the Rift, not in this little Rift dimension, they, aren't frozen because they're not inside it. We can't shoot them, and then they can't shoot us. So yeah, that's a thing. But if I was playing, likes of Excalibur using Exalted Blade, or Mesa with Peacemaker, I could still shoot those guys. If this guy walks into the bubble, then he's going to become frozen as well. You can go ahead and you can unfreeze these guys just by recasting your 2. They're going to walk again, and then you can burst your bubble with your 4. So that is pretty much how Limbo works. The only other thing that we have to talk about is which build you want to run, okay? So you can see with this build, I have a pretty huge bubble, and I use this in the likes of an interception mission where there is no nullifiers. I'm going to go ahead and kill all these enemies right here. If there's a nullifier, what's going to happen is if they touch your bubble with their bubble, then your bubble is going to burst, and then all your defense is gone, which is why I don't personally like Limbo in the likes of a defense mission or something like that, where I'm going against high-level enemies. I prefer Frost, but who's going to play like super high level? Your pod is going to get one shot. Doesn't really matter that much in the current sort of meta of Warframe, where everything's casual, so it doesn't matter that much. Nullifiers are going to burst your bubble if they touch your bubble with their bubble. That is a weird sentence to say, kind of. But, that's why players may opt for a smaller bubble. So this is my interception build, right? So it's got 306% duration. We've got 214% range. Pretty low efficiency because we don't really need it that much, because we're only casting our 4 and then our 2. And then we don't have any strength whatsoever because we don't need that at all. So we have Prime Continuity, Narrow-Minded, Augur Message, Constitution for our duration, Overextended, Stretch, and Augur Reach for our range, Streamline for efficiency, Cunning Drift for more range as well. Cruise Projection on there to reduce enemy armor so we can deal more damage. You can change this to be whatever you want. Then we move on. This is my very, very, very tiny bubble. And I use this if I don't want to piss players off, basically. So you can put this here down on like a mobile defense objective or whatever. So that's pretty cool. This is the build that I would use in mobile defense. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. I've got Prime Continuity, Augur Message, Constitution, Minded. Those are pretty much going to be on every single Limbo build. I got Prime Flow on here, although you don't need it. Streamline for more ability efficiency. Vitality for health. Fleet and Expertise for a little bit of efficiency, paired with Streamline, of course. Endurance Drift for more energy, and then Energy Siphon for energy regen. Kind of a weird build. You can definitely swap around the Prime Flow, the efficiency, the health mod, and all that jazz. I would recommend keeping the health mod on, actually, because your bubble is going to be very, very small. So unless you're standing inside your bubble permanently, which is going to be pretty hard because it's pretty small, and remember, it shrinks over time, then you're probably going to want Vitality, but it's really up to you, honestly. I just like having it on because smaller bubble, and I get to run around a little bit and kill some bad guys in mobile defense, so that's cool. Config A is my basic defense. So you can see I have just under 100% range, and that's because I only wanted it to be the size of the area that I wanted to protect in a void defense. So this is the build that I've came up with whenever it comes to this. So Prime Continuity for duration, paired with Augur Message, Constitution, and Minded. Vitality for health, Stretch on here, just Stretch, and then just Cunning Drift for your range, Streamline for ability efficiency, and then Prime Flow on there for more energy. Energy Siphon on there for energy regen. Again, this can be whatever you like. I'd probably run Cruise Projection in this case if I was playing in the Void, for example, which is what this one covers perfectly, pretty much. So I'll demonstrate the size of this one in a second or two. So that is basically the free builds. Again, you can swap up Prime Flow for something different if you really wanted to, but let's go ahead and get out of the Rift. We press R4, then we press R2, and you can see that this one is just slightly bigger than a Frost Snow Globe, with more or less the exact same mods on, pretty much. So I like this size of bubble because it means that it minimizes the chance of a nullifier running into it without me noticing, you know what I mean? So it's not like a nullifier is just going to spawn in and then instantly take out my bubble because it's not big enough for that, basically. The only downside is if you're using Limbo in the likes of a Relic run, and you happen to get the Relic buff, which gives you more power range and more power strength, then you can be messed up by nullifiers if you're playing a mission that has nullifiers in it. I wouldn't necessarily recommend using Limbo versus the Corrupted or the Corpus, but you definitely can. You just have to be paying more attention to those nullifiers. So what I would recommend is using a weapon that has a high fire rate, or having at least one high fire rate weapon equipped, or even using a sniper and taking out the little drone that accompanies the nullifier bubble, which allows you to instantly pop it, pretty much. And I don't really think that there is much else I can really talk about whenever it comes to Limbo. I don't really have any augments apart from Rift Haven. You can use this in the likes of a defection mission if you wanted to heal the allies, right? So basically what this one is going to allow you to do is you can cast your one on an ally, and that's going to heal them over time, and that also counts for the little defection mans, right, that you have to protect to take the exit. So Limbo became pretty meta for that whenever it first came out, paired with a Blessing Trinity to aid with the damage reduction and stuff like that. But other than that, honestly, there's not many more tips I can really give you with Limbo other than, you know, paying attention to those nullifier bubbles, because they can be pretty annoying. I don't even know if I have a nullifier. I do have a corrupted nullifier. So watch as these guys, let me see, burst my bubble, basically. But I can only spawn in kill enemies. Can I only spawn in one? I can only spawn in one at a time. Wow, okay. That's new to me. Oh, it's because I have that selected. Never mind. I'm an idiot. There we go. Simulate. So watch these guys. Their bubbles are going to grow, and then they're going to run towards me. And it just instantly bursts my bubble, right? So that's basically why I don't like Limbo, because of that exact reason. And then also the long casting animation. So if you do need to get a bubble up right now, then Limbo's long casting animation can definitely screw you over. those are just a few things that I would look out for while I'm playing Limbo. But other than that, you know, he's a great frame. If you're playing like low-level defense missions or just casually doing all your daily content, like sortie level stuff, you should be good to go. And these are the little drones that I'm talking about, by the way. If you go ahead, take these out with a sniper, the bubble will go away instantly pretty much. So yeah, I think Limbo is totally fine for your average daily content. But if you're doing something like what's it called, an endurance run, I would recommend Frost over Limbo, because the difference is Frost has really good scaling on a snow globe. You can keep on stacking it and stacking it and stacking it. It's also got a smaller base range pretty much, and then you can instantly cast it as well. So that's why I prefer Frost over Limbo, but Limbo is still great. I still recommend them, especially if you need to do your homework while you want to farm stuff in Warframe. But that is pretty much it. Limbo's awesome. Pick him up. You get him from the Limbo Ferrum quest, or just pick up Limbo Prime. I think that's probably a lot easier because Limbo Ferrum is Arcwing, and that's rather annoying. So, yeah. Thank you guys for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, go ahead, hit that like button below. If you want to see more Warframe content from me, hit subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.